But I must say this, the most exciting fighter that's active and fighting in boxing right now is Gervonta Davis.
Boy, I was throwing him. He always been like that. So I gotta focus on what I'm focusing on. He already did what he had to do.
I'm telling you, this version of Tank is gonna be dangerous, bruh. If you know about boxing, come on, it is Gervonta Davis, bruh.
Legendary boxer Floyd Mayweather recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming rematch between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis, making it clear he believes Roach doesn't stand much of a chance. According to Floyd, Gervonta's mix of speed, power, and high fight IQ makes him a difficult puzzle that Lamont isn't built to solve. He stressed that unless Roach completely changes his game plan, the odds strongly favor Gervonta staying on top.
Loss versus Gervonta Davis may get overturned. It's not going to happen. Apparently, they said that PBC, the production went out, so they couldn't do a replay, and they have replay in New York. And that's why they're not going to overturn this. Boxing never goes back to overturn anything. They don't investigate any corruption as long as they money good. You know, they didn't go back and overturn. Ryan Garcia cheated. They didn't overturn that to a loss. They did a no contest. It should have been a loss. He had a competitive advantage. When Margarito cheated Miguel Cotto, they didn't go back and open up an investigation. Manny Pacquiao wanted them to investigate and rescore the Jeff Horn fight. People forget that. People screaming corruption there, so they're not going to overturn this. Lamont Roach don't have a major promoter behind him. People will get paid off, and this will go away, and they're going to uphold the win, even though they blatantly broke the rules on 2 separate occasions. The knee should have been counted and wiping the face. So boxing has always been corrupt. It's always been controlled by money. It's one of the inorganic, if that's a word, sports of all time.
This is a secret Lamont Roach knows. Tank can go get you if you're running away, because Tank is very good at knowing the distance where he has most leverage on his punches. If you think about Mike Tyson is strange to say, but he wasn't great with his power when he was very close on the inside. Mike Tyson was a mid-range puncher. That's why Mike Tyson could go in from a distance and step in and knock you out. But when y'all close, Mike Tyson didn't really have all his power in there. Neither does Tank. So if you're backing up, Tank can go get you. Other than that, Tank has to counter you. That's how Tank knocked out Rolly. That's how Tank knocked out Ryan Garcia. That's how Tank hurt Mario Barrios and started that shit, that snowball. That's how Tank knocked out Leo Santa Cruz. That's why Tank talked so much. He needs you punching.
From the very start of his career, Gervonta Davis was closely linked to Floyd Mayweather in what began as a mentor-protege relationship. But over time, that dynamic became more controlling. Many observers noticed that Mayweather often took charge of key decisions in Davis's career, shaping his public image and direction. Rather than helping Davis build his own unique legacy, it felt like Floyd was molding him into a version of himself, while still pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Adrian had the weigh-in. So from his weigh-in, they meet us at the food spot. So from there, we go to the gym. So remind you, they already got this set up. Floyd already got it set up. He already posted on Instagram. It probably was like 100 people in there, and he turned the heat up. That's what Floyd do. He turned the heat up in the gym while you in there. So he turned the heat up. Boom. We spar, but while we sparring, Floyd is in the ring. Like every time I'm punching, Floyd like grab my hand, like yank it back. Whereas though I can't even punch Devin. So it was times that like I catch Devin, boom, or I'm about to swing and Floyd like yank my hand back, or he'll push me to the ropes. Like he was actually like touching me while we was sparring. Like
why?
Like, he was, cause it was like Devin was his guy, cause Devin was training at his gym at the time. So, and he was training with his father. So, Devin was on. Floyd was on Devin's side.
Sounds
so
like
that's
a conspiracy to me.
Yeah, but later down the line, probably about like a couple months. No, this was recently. Not recently, but probably like 2 years ago. I asked Devin to like come to like spar me. He was like, "No, I ain't no sparring partner." I had somebody hit him up that was close to him.
Gervonta Davis has been open about the struggles he faced during his time under Floyd Mayweather's mentorship, especially during sparring sessions with Devin Haney. In one well-known session, just as Davis began to take control and show his edge over the younger Haney, Mayweather suddenly stepped in and stopped the action. That moment, and others like it, left Davis feeling held back. People who witnessed the sessions felt like Haney was being protected, while Davis wasn't being given the space to truly shine. For Davis, it felt like the person who was supposed to help him grow was instead keeping him in the shadows.
Floyd outdoing him. He always been like that. You know what I mean? So I gotta focus on what I'm focused on. He already did what he had to do, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Me, if I did what I if what he did in the sport, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be the same way. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't fall him for stand to himself and things like that. You know what I mean? But it's also a part of me type thing, like come back and help too. You know what I mean? So it's much love to the whole Mayweather promotion. You know what I mean? Ain't no bad blood type shit. And a lot of people think when I be tweeting on Instagram, I be mad. I just be.
At first, Gervonta Davis saw his connection with Floyd Mayweather as a valuable mentorship. But as time went on, he started to feel it was less about support and more about control. Mayweather, known for his calculated business style, appeared to steer Davis's career in ways that kept himself in a position of power, from choosing opponents to managing public appearances. As Davis grew more experienced and confident in the sport, he began to notice this pattern, which led to growing frustration and a lack of trust. Over time, the gap between them widened as Davis pushed for more control over his own path.
First of all, Floyd don't never want to see no one like a fighter do better than them. Why the say Terrence Crawford should fight? Finna be there. That don't make no fucking sense. He don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you.
You next in line. This is where you're next in line.
Is there like a,
The last question guys never got
is there like a love hate or like
Yeah.
the fighter?
Yeah, I love the fighter. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest. But he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad.
Oh, you're good, man.
And he cause I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always I'm this.
Floyd Mayweather had previously shown some doubt about Gervonta Davis's punching power, but that tone is starting to shift. Recent training footage of Davis has caught Mayweather's attention, showing Tank putting in serious work, sharp drills, explosive combos, and a level of focus that surprised even his former mentor. The videos clearly reflect a fighter who's leveling up, and it's made Floyd take notice, prompting him to rethink his earlier skepticism and recognize just how much Davis has grown.
When is Gervonta Davis going to go somewhere in the power for power? Illinois deserve to be in the power for power? Absolutely. Do Terrence Crawford deserve to be in the power for power? Absolutely. But what about Gervonta Tank Davis? He deserve to be somewhere also in the power for power.
Why don't they give him that credit?
Because he was affiliated with me.
Many believe Gervonta Davis's underwhelming showing against Lamont Roach had more to do with his personal struggles than Roach's abilities. Davis has been honest about dealing with both mental and physical challenges, even mentioning thoughts of therapy and taking a break from the sport. Still, he chose to fight even though he wasn't at his best. Now, with the rematch on the horizon, Davis has a chance to remind everyone what he's really capable of. If he comes in fully prepared, fans are expecting a much stronger and more focused performance.
He wants to do therapy, he wants to do real estate. They want to say he wasn't all in because him and Roach are friends, and he's going to be focused for the second fight. A lot of excuses. They want to say it's because of the braids, the oil getting in his eye. Whatever. This is what really happened. And I just now came to this conclusion because I've been making some other videos for Patreon, but Lamont Roach posted a video recently on...
The first fight exposed real cracks in Davis's defense and stamina, weaknesses that Roach didn't hesitate to exploit. Now, the rematch isn't just another bout, it's a defining moment. Davis needs to prove that his last performance was an off night, not the beginning of a decline. With questions surrounding his power and sharpness, this fight is about more than winning. It's about restoring his reputation and proving he's still elite. On top of that, the split with Mayweather Promotions wasn't smooth, it was public, messy, and filled with tension. From passive-aggressive digs to power struggles over control, it became clear that Davis was fighting for his independence. The fallout revealed just how fractured their relationship had become long before they officially parted ways.
Floyd left barbering him,
It's not good for, it's good for them to do it and become their own boss. And then if another guy does it, it's not good for the sport. He's disloyal. And what's wrong with Tank saying he want to be his own boss? And honestly, I've been there. The relationship between them two is very toxic. It's a toxic relationship. It's up and down and up and down. And I'm not gonna elaborate to everything that I know, but it's a very toxic relationship. And that's why when I tweet stuff, I don't tweet often, but when I tweet, I may fire off 50 tweets in the day. And that's why when I tweeted certain things about the relationship, Tank retweeted it because he knows. Like, I'm not just gonna say what it is. It's a very toxic relationship. It's back and forth. And I think it will serve him best to go and be his own boss.
Many experts believe the buzz around Roach's performance in the first fight is a bit overblown. They point out that when Tank Davis went down to one knee, it wasn't from a clean knockout shot. It was because grease from his hair got in his eyes, affecting his vision. That detail changes the story and suggests Roach's dominance might not have been as clear-cut as some are making it out to be. Now, Davis is locked in and ready to come back stronger, more focused, and more dangerous than ever. He's warning fans not to underestimate what's coming. A version of Tank that's sharper, hungrier, and out to make a statement.
People keep saying like Lamont dang near like beat Tank like clean. Like basically like we seen it like, yeah, he did Tank that one, but like Tank was limping out the ring. Bro, he didn't even get over on Tank for real. Y'all only saying that because Tank took the knee. And when Tank took the knee, it wasn't how like Ryan Garcia was when he took the knee once Tank went to his body. It was like, dang, like I'm taking him to get right back up. Can you do that in boxing? No. But y'all can't say that basically that, oh yeah, he won because of the knee. That shows that people just want to see Tank lose, bruh. Cause y'all betting y'all money on basically Tank losing because of that knee. Yes, it was a good fight. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. Lamont was defending himself like he's skilled. But bro, he ain't walk all over Tank. Tank, bro, if y'all go back and watch the highlights, I just watched the highlights last night. Them last couple of rounds, bro, Lamont was balled up. Tank was literally, he was trying, like you could tell Tank was like, dang, I waited too long. So he was trying to throw some stuff like to make sure he get that one blow, but it didn't work. So that's why they doing that rematch so they could start over from scratch, round 1 to round 12. We gonna start over clean and let's see what's going on now. Now y'all wanna be saying, oh no, man, I ain't gonna lie. At the end of the day, the first fight is what matters. No, it don't. Tank was, look, he real enough to say, hey, bro, let's do a rematch. Now, if he ain't do a rematch, it's like, oh, yeah, something going on. Nah, hush, hush. Hey, Calvin, step to the side. Let me get somebody else right now. I'm going to be hush. Let me get back in the gym and put my hat on.
Surprisingly, even some of Tank Davis's usual critics are now backing him to win the rematch convincingly. The general feeling is that he's more focused than ever, fully aware of how much this fight means for his legacy. Unlike before, there are no distractions. His sights are set solely on Lamont Roach. That kind of laser focus is what many believe will help Tank bounce back and re-establish his dominance. After the controversial officiating in their first meeting, fans and analysts alike are calling for a fair rematch. Referee Steve Willis, accused of favoring Davis, has been a major point of criticism. Roach's team has already asked that Willis not be allowed to officiate again. The hope this time is for a clean, unbiased fight. One where the result is decided only by what happens in the ring.
The part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own, you know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say, it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me, because I'm right beside him, you could see me like, nigga, what you talking about? So,
right. But you say you don't think he willing though.
Yeah, whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Spit fucking around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But you, it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on, ref.
Time out.
You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
No.
Pops, it's a no?
Hell no.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck, yeah.
You know how
I
many
put Coach Ben on him, man. He lucky he ain't running Coach Ben after that fight.
But look how many times he look at how many times he fucked the fight up though.
Right.
The knee, him going to the corner to get assistance, like who knows? Not saying that they did any cheating shit or nothing like that, but like he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that.
Right.
That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref will be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more. Fight's off.
Some respected names in boxing, like Gary Russell Jr., don't fully agree with the idea that Roach clearly beat Tank Davis in their first fight. Russell believes Roach may have kept up with Davis, but he didn't do enough to clearly take the belt from a champion of Tank's caliber. In his view, to unseat someone like Davis, a fighter needs to dominate, not just hang in there, and Roach didn't quite deliver that level of performance.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round. Because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no, sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight.
Jeff Mayweather's breakdown of Gervonta Davis's first fight with Lamont Roach pointed out some clear problems in Tank's performance. He noted that Roach kept a faster pace, threw more punches, and controlled the tempo, something that pushed Davis out of his usual rhythm. Known for his power and accuracy, Davis looked off that night, which surprised Jeff. He even hinted that Roach's higher work rate may have been enough to deserve the win. Jeff's take adds to the ongoing debate about whether the draw was fair, and it puts even more pressure on Davis to prove himself in the rematch.
That's the worst decision I think I might have ever seen. I don't know how that's not a knockdown. But anyway, thoughts on the overall fight first, Jeff?
I think that it was a good fight on both sides, and I do think that Roach actually won the fight. I thought he outworked Tank. Thought that he threw more punches than Tank. It seemed like Tank was fighting like he always do. It just seemed like he was just waiting for him to figure out whoever was in front of him like he always do, and then go to work. But this time when he went to work, the guy went to work back. So, I mean, he had somebody that was firing back at him. It's the same way.
Yeah. I think the commentators and most of us at home thought, kind of the same thing. You thought Roach would bank some of those early rounds to prepare for the onslaught later. And when it didn't really happen, it was pretty even. We said, well, this is going to be a one-sided fight. But yeah, it never happened. And Roach, through the latter half of the fight actually seemed to do better than the first half.
I thought he did good pretty much all the way through the fight. I mean, there was a few rounds where he didn't do that well, but I mean, I thought he won the fight clearly. I mean, I didn't see Gervonta really the Gervonta that I know. I mean, I'm a big Gervonta fan, but I didn't see none of the Gervonta that I'm used to seeing.
Waka believes Lamont Roach didn't just edge out Gervonta Davis in their first fight. He clearly outboxed him. He points to Roach's smart strategy and calm under pressure as proof that he was the better fighter that night. In Waka's view, Roach exposed real flaws in Davis's defense and stamina. While the judges didn't give Roach the win, Waka says anyone with a trained eye could see who really controlled the fight.
Do you think that they should have counted that point against him? Do you think Lamont Roach won, or do you think it wasn't enough?
It could be considered a rightful draw, but I also lean towards that Lamont Roach won that fight. I believe he won the fight simply because he outclassed the champ. In boxing, you have to do two things to beat the champ. You either got to knock out the champ or completely outclass the champ. But you have to beat the champ. You're not going to just get the win because you survived or you put up a good fight. Bro lost that fight. Facts. Like when you really, really know boxing and know boxing for what it really, really is, Tank lost that fight. No matter how much people emotions and feelings are attached to it, because Tank is a hero of the hood. The ghetto loved the Tank. Gervonta Davis has been crowned king. My personal opinion, I don't think he should take the rematch, and I think he's already done what you just said. I think off of what he's already accomplished with the draw, he's already in a life-changing situation to where he could change every person around his life forever. He's now what's called a prize fighter, guaranteed. He's now what's also called a A-side fighter right now. But if he does what I like to call the Deontay Wilder and chase the legacy of getting the win, because you thinking from more of 100% on the boxing aspect than the business aspect, which Gervonta Davis has clearly showed everybody, the larger amount of his success is from the business module of the way he does boxing that was being gifted to him through Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions and PBC. But at the end of the day, so and what? That's what he's supposed to do. I'm not mad at Gervonta Davis for that.
Davis looks more focused this time. After a shaky first fight, he's taking extra time to prepare, which shows he understands how big this rematch is. If he's training smart, we might see a much better version of him in the ring.